Oh my God. Hey, Nemo, how's it going? Oh
It's
wait,
going good.
are we
You,
live?
your G string is not on correct, she said. Oh, sorry about that music. I just want to
Oh yeah.
apologize right now. Sorry about the music.
Hey, everybody out there, I got a new mic, so it's gonna sound a little weird. Oh wait, I got feedback. Let me turn down my
Yeah, we're
mic.
having some technical difficulties
I
here.
feel bad,
But
man.
luckily,
I feel
we had
a
Shelly
bit
telling us exactly what was wrong.
Hey,
Uh,
guess what? I finally hooked up my sound box.
Yeah,
My
you know what? You know what? And I appreciate that and everything, but we have Shelly there here. We don't want to talk
okay.
anything that we
All
don't
right.
need to. Let's get
Before that, we got to do a
disclaimer
little.
in. Let's get going.
All right, we got a little business going. Okay, so please, we don't get paid for this show, and all we ask it's a gentleman's agreement, a lady's understanding. Tejano's helping Tejanos. Please subscribe. Tell your friends and your family to subscribe. Watch us on YouTube because we need your support, right, Nima?
Yes, please.
Okay, and if anybody wants to get a hold of us, like new artists, senior artists and stuff like that, they can reach us at buddy at ItsTejanoTime.com and
Nemo at Nemo6753 at Yahoo. Ah,
Yahoo.com.
for some reason, it's not that bad today.
Okay.
So, oh, there's thank you,
Well,
Mark. Thank you, Mark.
is Mario on? Okay. Well, we're gonna hit the comments later, but thanks,
Yeah, yeah,
Mario.
yeah.
All right. I feel I'm embarrassed because all these
Okay.
technical issues are
Yeah,
happening.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm an
Just
artist that I've been waiting for almost a year to
we
get
have
on.
like a VIP A material here, guest, and you're holding
I
up.
screwed it up. Okay. But you know what? We're not. Oh, wait. Wait.
Introduce her.
I can't hear you.
Introduce her.
No, they can't answer. Okay, but let's bring Shelly. All right. Yay. Oh, wait. Got some. I can't see. All right. Gotta get the
Wow,
Okay, so
wow.
Wow,
We have
I love
Shelly
the
out here.
I love the applause, man.
it's Dynamite's on here. All
Love
right.
Wow,
it.
that is
So
so cool.
how you
Thank
been?
you guys. Thank you so much for it's I'm so glad I'm finally able to be on the show, and I just want to say thank you for having me on, and thank you for my artists that you guys have had on your show already. I
Yes,
sincerely
like Al. Yeah, and we're gonna have El Gallo Des next week, so
Yeah,
we're looking
yeah,
forward to
yeah.
it. Like
Yeah,
that, and
thank
yay,
you.
thank you.
thank you.
Big thank you. To you. I know you're super busy. You're super busy. Now that you're retired, you're even more busier, I'm sure.
More busy. Yes.
Oh
Now,
man, I mean, there's thing to do every day, and I have a lot of goals that I'm setting for myself. When a lot of the reason why I retired last year is because I really wanted to challenge myself in different areas, and because I could do the road and recording for myself in my sleep, and it was already like been doing it for so long, and I still love it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I still love it. It's just I wanted to do a lot of other things.
do you miss performing live?
I miss the fans.
Oh yeah.
I miss the interaction. Um, you know, but y'all, the weekends come and I'm home and I'm like, yeah. It's like, it feels,
Friday and Saturday nights for yourself.
You get to sleep in and
A
all
lot of
this.
Netflix.
you know what? There's only certain TV shows I like to watch that I will spend all day binging on, and that's Catfish, Bar Rescue, and Naked and Afraid. Those are my
Nice. All
shows.
right.
I used to watch all those.
Yeah, yeah.
I
But
don't think
Cat,
I watch any of those anymore.
I love Catfish. Yeah,
Yeah. That's been on for like a decade now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
longer than yeah, a long time. But no, I love being home on the weekends. I thought I was going to have more time, um, not doing anything, but now it's just my weekdays and weekends are still full. It's just doing other stuff. Being in the music is still something that I promised my fans that I was still going to be active in
Okay.
my genre and in music, and it's just on the other side of the fence now. And I
Okay.
really enjoy it. I like being behind the scenes.
All right. Geneva was on the Lawrence's show yesterday, and
Yes.
I heard you do another collab with her.
Yes, we're going to do a Christian song. We've been trying to do this song for a while now. And, I'm such a big fan of Geneva's voice. She's such a beautiful person. And I admire her work ethic, especially dedication she shows to her career. We were talking about this yesterday. I talked to her for about a good hour on the phone, and I was just telling her, how much I admire her, not giving up and following what she wants to do. Because it takes a lot of, you can't sit back and wait for stuff to happen. You have to
Right.
consistently work. And even though, I was hitting my 40 years last year, I was still working on my craft every day. That never stops. And a lot of artists feel that, it's going to come their way, or they get to a certain point where they don't have to try anymore or work hard anymore. And
They're
that
complacent.
that's false. I mean, you gotta, if you want to stay relevant anyway, and you want to continue to reinvent yourself, you got to work at it. But I told her yesterday, to me, Geneva has a beautiful international voice. I mean, like with the greats, in my opinion, like Rosia Dulcar and Ana Gabriel, those international vocalists. That's kind of, to me, where I put Geneva vocally, because she's amazing. She's incredible.
You have an incredible stable, a whole variety genre in your stable. I mean, from
Yeah,
mariachi to hip hop
yeah.
to Tejano. I mean, is that what you were planning to do whenever you saw this vision?
Oh man. Okay. Well, I started Shell Shock Records 3. Everybody asks me what is the 3 for. Just so I tell y'all, 3 is my number. That's my lucky number. That was my number when I played sports. I was in basketball. I played fast pitch softball. I played softball, volleyball, and my number was always 3. And so there's a lot of reasons why I love that number. Um, I also uh, write at 3 o'clock in the morning. I write a lot of music at that time. It's been for a long time that's happened. It's weird. But when I started Shell Shock in 2012, I was just tired of dealing with record labels. I wanted to know that side of the business. I wanted to know where my music was distributed, where my music was not distributed. I wanted to know about manufacturing. I wanted to know sales. I wanted to know everything. I'd seen it, but I didn't really know it. And it's a totally different and monster in itself. So I started that for myself first, but with the intentions of signing artists way further down the line. This was just 2012, so I was looking way, way further. And even when I decided to retire in 2021, um, I didn't plan on signing artists this soon. I didn't
Okay,
plan on producing artists this soon. I didn't want to do that till like 24, God willing, I was still here, or 25. I had other visions outside of music, which was, going to nursing school because I wanted to be in hospice. I wanted to work with hospice. That
that
was
is,
my passion.
yeah,
I was my father's caregiver along with my mom,
that's so
and
admirable.
and when I this was like 8 years ago that was kind of put into me, because I also studied fitness and nutrition, and I studied physical therapy aid on the road. A lot of people don't know that I was studying that as well, but it just wasn't fulfilling outside of music, right? Aside from music, it wasn't as fulfilling. I was wanting something more. I wanted to help more. So I started contemplating nursing and hospice as I was around it a little bit more. And it was about 8 years ago. I think it was the year before my father passed. So it must have been like 2015. My father was outside in the backyard of their house, and I said, Dad, I think I know what I want to do outside of music. And he's like, What is that? I said, I want to go into nursing. I want to work in hospice. He says, Well, then go do that. He's like, my parents have always been very supportive in whatever we do. I have 3 siblings. I'm the baby of 4. So I have 2 sisters and a brother. And everything that we always wanted to do, my parents were just so supportive. So he was encouraging me. But I was so busy on the road, and nursing school is like, it's a job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
big
job.
time.
And
My
and I
my wife is a nurse. She does oncology.
oh that's amazing. So yeah, I knew that it was going to take a lot from me, and I knew that I couldn't be on the road and be in nursing school at the same time. Um, so that's when I said, okay, here's let's get off the road. Let's start school in April. So I plan on starting school April of this year. That was
Oh,
Shelly's plan,
Hmm.
but God has plans for me.
Isn't
Yeah,
that the truth though?
yeah. Well,
We
you
can
know
have
what?
all the plan we want to, but he's like, okay, I have
Yeah,
a plan.
yeah.
It's like, so what happened, like, okay, so before, my end of my year, I started getting hit up by a lot of artists, and they were finding out I was going to be retiring. They wanted to work with me, and I was, talent was coming. I was like, wow, these people are talented. And then I knew I also wanted a studio. My mom and dad, especially my dad, it was always his dream for me to have my own recording studio. Since I've been producing my music since day one, and so I knew more or less what I wanted. I wanted an old home, a lot of property, and a fence, like a gate. And my fiance Mia, one day she was just she's going into real estate, so she's always looking at
Oh,
stuff like that.
perfect.
Yes. Do
She
you
was,
have a house in Dallas, DFW?
and what's that?
Do you have a house in DFW? I always thought you and Jay, not together, but I mean, I thought you and Jay had a house over here somewhere.
No, no, I ain't gonna live with Jay, that's for sure. No.
I just, separate little houses, but you guys played at New West so many. Like back in the '90s, you were like regulars on this show, and you were regulars at.
Well,
Wait, what-
we stayed pretty dominant on the lineup for New
yeah,
West my whole career for 25 years because that's how long they've been around. So yeah, so she was looking at the real estate and found this studio, and she was like, "Look," and I was like, "I'm not ready for that. I want to go to school. I'm not ready for this studio." She's like, "It's perfect." And then I started wanting it. I was like, but I at the same time I felt kind of not kind of I felt guilty. I was like, I got off the road for this reason, and here I am, just I'm gonna you know deter from where I think God was taking me, right?
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
So to say the least, we tried for the studio, we got it, and I got it. It's been a year this month that I got the studio space. And so it had remained empty until this year because I was still on the road. I was too busy. I didn't have time to put all the equipment in and start working out of it. So I just basically kept it for almost a year empty. And then come 2023 in February, my cousin who owns hospice companies here in San Antonio, she's like, "Hey, Shell, I would like for you to join our hospice company." And I was like, "Well, I haven't gone to school yet. I mean, I'm not an RN yet." She's like, "No, I really want you to do music therapy." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Um, and I didn't tell you guys that when I had told my father back in 2015, as if I wasn't busy enough, I became a caregiver twice a week because I wanted to make sure that that was the line of work I wanted to do. And I got paired up with hospice patients immediately. So I fell in love with it even
As a
more.
volunteer, or
No, it was, I mean, of course, my bread and butter was being on the road. I
right?
wasn't making
Yeah, yeah,
money. Like I wasn't making much money as a caregiver at
right.
all. Unfortunately, they don't pay them very much money.
Sad, right?
But I loved it. I mean, I got paired up with hospice like right out the gate, and I loved it. And I love elderly people. I love working with elderly people. And so I got paired up. Finally, my final patient, I was with her for 3 years. And they worked around my schedule. They did everything they could to work around my schedule. And they were like, "We just want Shelly. We just want her to take care of our mom." And I would
Yeah,
I
of
would do
course.
music.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, I would do music therapy for her,
Yeah.
and she loved it. Loved it. And I mean, when I was talking to y'all about my having surgery in 2019 when I had to have a partial hysterectomy, so I couldn't
Oh, this
watch
was before the show. So,
February of 19 to uh, I was going to go back to her after February 2019, March, but she wound up passing in June. So she passed before I could go back with her. But I would go visit, and the other caregivers like would not play music for her, and she would just be sitting there, and I would get so upset. I'm like, "She loves music. Y'all need to play music for her." And so anyway, I knew that's what I wanted. So when my cousin approached me, it brought me to tears. And I'm not gonna lie, I prayed to God and I said, "God, am I deterring from what you want to do? Not having artists want to work with me." am I deterring from what I thought my calling was? And then he made it very clear to me that he's giving me my hospice that I wanted, but this is the gift of music he gave me, and he continues to want me to do it.
Right.
It's on this side of the fence,
Hmm.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm doing now, and
That's so
I,
good.
I love it so much. The connections I have made with people does not even compare to the 40 years that I've entertained people.
Do you
Um,
still do it 2 days a week or that?
um, do it whenever I want to. It's pretty
Oh,
much my own schedule, and I if I want to see 5 patients a day, I can. It just depends on me.
okay.
Um, but I love it. I really enjoy it, and so the funny thing is the way God, things manifest and things are divine intervention. Um, when we were getting the studio space, Mia was like, and we need to get a stage in the back so you can show them artist development and you could teach the artists how to work the stage. And I was like, babe, I don't need a stage back there, man.
That would be a good show.
And we get to this space and there's a stage in the back.
Oh, oh, nice.
Oh my gosh. That would be a good, like, real life, show for you.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, I do artist development now with my
Yeah.
artists, and I
No, I
teach
mean,
them
have
everything.
cameras showing everybody, like, how you're
Oh,
developing.
yeah, I know. I try to talk to them about that. I mean, to me, um,
Mm,
it's really got to just be your authentic
maybe we
self.
should talk about this later too. I mean, if you're interested, I
There's a
got
lot
projects.
She's
that I'm
got
telling.
she's got project galore. Just get
Oh,
in
yeah,
line.
I'm just
Get
gonna
in
pile
line.
on more projects for her if she wants it. Try to
So
make it an
being a hospice nurse has to take a toll on you because you get attached to them, and it's something that you have to be strong. I mean, God
Yeah,
bless you, and I'm glad that you're doing that because people need that, and they're blessed to have you there. Especially doing music therapy, which is so relaxing to them, and they
and
feel at peace
they
with it.
don't. They, music is so it's so underrated when it comes to people's health and their morale and um, even just their memory. I have
Oh yeah,
dementia patients. I have dementia patients where they will ask me 50 times what my name is and within the visit. And then the moment I sing a song, they know every single word.
yeah, yeah.
But it's like, and it's amazing how our brain and our soul works. Music is good for our soul.
Oh yeah.
And I'm completely fine with transitioning. I know that to me, death is not the end; it's the beginning. So I have very strong faith. I know what happens. Our spirit lives on, and so it doesn't bother me. I don't. I just really, my job is to really deter them from any kind of depression or anxiety that they're feeling about getting ready to transition.
Right.
And not, some of them are alive. Some of them just for the moment they're having hospice care.
Hmm.
So they're end of life,
Right.
and
Hmm.
about to get off hospice. They're like, man, but we're not going to get to have you anymore. And
Well, you should be thankful you're not, right?
yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
tell them, I
yeah,
said, but it's good for you.
yeah.
But which is what has really made me want to start my own company because I don't just want it to be for hospice. I want it for anyone who needs music in their life, whether it's a depressed veteran or an elderly person that's always by themselves or a child that's sick and can't leave the house or something to that effect. And I want my fellow artists to do it. I would want it to be with musicians that I know to
That's
go
cool.
and do
That's
Yeah.
it.
I remember you saying that, you're also gonna you developed curriculum for UTSA?
Yeah, I was approached last year. I was hounded, should I say, by
that's what
UTSA.
Geraldo does. He hounds people,
Yeah, yeah.
as you would know, as you would know.
I got a sound effect ready, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I say stalks, but he hounds.
yeah, no. I they approached me last year about wanting me to be part of the music program at UTSA, here in San Antonio, and what it is, I'm the artist in residence. I'm the very first artist in residence that they have. I mean, think of it like when you go see the artist at in Vegas. You know, it's a residency, sort of, so to speak. But I will be teaching several things. I'm going to be teaching not only some of the history of Tejano music, but I teach anything from songwriting to performing to voice to.
Are
I
you
mean,
gonna record that?
there's a lot of what's that?
You gonna record it? Put a camera.
Um, I'm not sure if the university does. I mean, there's a lot of protocol, when it comes to stuff like that.
You do it.
Um,
Do it. Do it. Do it. Because actually, students can record you.
yeah. Well, I mean, you don't get
Let them
royalty
do it.
in this university, not in UTSA. That's not how they operate. Um, so or copyright. I can't go in already with copyrighted material that I've putting together myself. That's not how they
You
work.
actually can do it for education
But
purposes.
yeah, but I think you haven't been to UTSA, and so
Yeah, UTSA
it's
might be
just
different
yeah,
than your
yeah,
school you do.
I've been doing
yeah,
education for
yeah.
20 plus years, so
So I mean, you could I mean, but they can have my notes all they want, but they don't have my 40 years of experience.
right.
So you know, um, but yeah, no, they and I knew nothing about what an artist in residence gets, or I did a lot of research, and it was basically my call. It was like, and I'm going to plug in my phone while I'm talking to you guys.
Okay.
It was basically my call with what I wanted to do. Um, so I start in September, so I'm super excited. It's going to be for 2 semesters, and anyone that wants to come and take my course, they can come take my course at UTSA. And
UTSA.
Is there a
I'm
limit?
no.
I mean, are you
Uh-uh.
like in a classroom like 30, or are you in an auditorium?
I think it's going to be a classroom normally like 30 for like a normal classroom. Yeah.
So
But
then you're gonna
I
put.
mean, that's fine for me. I've entertained thousands, so.
Right?
This is true.
And I rocked them all.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't bother me. I do a lot of motivational speaking all the time. I do a lot of personal things. I've been on many panels throughout my career. I continue to be on them. So it's something any to to help and to educate on being an artist and stuff, because there's really not a school that you go to for what you learn here. It's just
That
it's
that that is too cool. I see in your background you have is are those Jordans that you have back there? What do you have in the background? Yeah, I know you have caps galore. You
I'm a
have
J I'm a Jays girl, so those are my Jays. Yeah, yeah.
how many do you how many pairs do you have?
I don't even know. I
What's
don't.
the most expensive one you have?
I would say I think I got a pair for not too bad. It's like $500.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's not
Yeah, it's
bad.
not too bad. No, I don't really necessarily always go for the collectors. I'm more of a colors. I love colors.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Do you wear them all?
I do. I wear them all. Yeah, I do. I mean, I love my orange. I have orange. I have neon green, neon
Yeah, I
pink.
see that. Yeah,
Right.
and
Do you wear,
what's the Jets cap about?
I'm a Jets fan. I've been a
Are you?
Jets fan for years. Yeah, I love Joe Namath.
So you like Aaron Rodgers? You like him going to the Jets?
Yeah, I respected the guy for his talent. When he was with the Packers and everything. He's a hell of a quarterback, obviously. But the Jets are a really young team still. But I'm hoping that his veteran experience will really give the guys a good season. But I mean, I was a Jets fan when it's never cool to be a Jets fan unless you live in New Jersey.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I'm surprised though, because when Mia actually bought me last year for my birthday, she bought me a sixth row when they played against the Texans. So I was like
Oh,
right
wait.
behind the team. Yeah, I
Okay.
was right behind the team, and there were a lot of Jets fans. I was like, hey, I was surprised. I didn't think there were that many, but no, I love sports. I mean, I'm a big sports fanatic. I love watching basketball. Baseball sometimes. I'm more of a basketball football girl. That's mostly what I like to watch.
are you gonna get
So,
season tickets? San Antonio?
uh, uh, to UTSA,
No, no, no.
to the
I mean, like, as far as
Spurs?
yeah.
Spurs? You Spurs fan? You're
I'm a Spurs fan. Yeah, I'm a Spurs fan. I I've never really gotten season tickets actually.
Well, now
You
you have
know,
the time.
no, I don't.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
right. It's even worse. See,
Yeah,
Okay.
I've heard some of the interviews, and you know what I love? The one that I love the most is whenever you start explaining how you got up on stage and I guess it was a quinceañera or something. It was a
yeah.
wedding. It was your beginning because you just got up there and you just belted out. That is so cool. I mean, that is so cool. At what 10 years old?
I was 10 when when Tejano really came into my life. I was 10. I knew of the genre, when you're young and you hear it at quinceañeras and weddings and family functions, but I wasn't really like I didn't know any of the artists. I only knew Little Joe because my brother-in-law was a big Little Joe fan
Yeah,
and
who wasn't?
he would play his music all the time.
Hmm.
So he would, play it and I would hear it and I loved it. And then uh that my sister brother-in-law got married, heard a Tejano band called the Hot Tamales Band. And
Hot tamales. Yeah.
they hired the orquesta was because David Mares was the vocalist at this time with that band.
Wow, that's cool.
Liked him, and but it just so happened like 2 weeks before my sister's wedding, David went on his own and he left the band. So, but they still hired, the band was hired, and my sister, I would sing around the house and I sang in choir at school, whatever. And my sister wanted me to sing a song with them. So my dad asked the manager if I could sing one song, and they're like, "Yeah, what does she want to sing?" And I was like, "Well, I was a big, huge Olivia Newton-John fan, so I sang an Olivia Newton-John song called "Let Me Be There," and they learned it. And I remember walking into the practice room, and they seemed like older, but they were like in their 20s. I'm sure they were younger guys, but when you're 10, everybody seems old.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think I remember their faces. I remember they looked at each other. They looked at my mom and dad, and I don't know if it was that night or a few days before. After that, the manager called my father and asked if I could sing that one song at another quinceañera prior to my sister's wedding, and that was my first official performance with the band, and that was here on the South Side at the Royal. Um, and it was a quinceañera or wedding. I just remember there were a lot of people. And I got on stage and I started singing. And as soon as I started singing, like everybody just came to the front of the stage. And I was like, what's happening? They were just cheering for me after this. After they wanted another song, but I only knew one song with them. So we did the song again. And that's when they asked my mom and dad if I could join the band. Um, and I wound up learning a lot about Tejano with them because they were the old school orquesta, so they did a lot Latin breed. They did Little Joe, they did Sonny Osuna, they did Joe Bravo, they did Freddie Martinez. So that's how I learned about the greats. Is was through them, and I learned how to train my voice because when you're playing with a brass section, it's loud. I learned how to listen and use the house and to train my voice just to be clear. And but I was ready to move on. I recorded about 545s with them. My very first record I recorded, I was and a half, recording with Manny Guerra, who was my very first executive producer. Um, I recorded with him back then in 1982. And but
He
then
had a
four
big
years,
stable too.
I was I learned a lot from Manny. I remember that I was waiting to record my voice. We did a song called "Break It to Me Gently," which was I learned the version from Juice Newton, and
Okay.
my mom wrote the Spanish lyrics, so it was bilingual. And so mom
She
wrote this,
translated it.
translated some of the words in Spanish,
Look
and
at her. Nice.
a lot of my fans, well, some know that my mom is actually a songwriter. She actually wrote the lyrics to my biggest hits, "Soy tu amor," "Es que estoy enamorada," "No quiero saber." My mom wrote the lyrics to those songs, and uh, I was waiting there to record my voice at 10 years old, and the band was taking forever. I remember it was getting late, and Manny was like, "Okay, we're ready for you." And I get in the booth, and I recorded it in one take. And he turns to the band. He's like, "That's how you do it."
All
um,
right.
Hey,
we have a good career, but I was ready to move on. I was ready to venture off at
Okay.
14.
All right.
wow, that's cool.
I had
So
like
real quick, Orlando, we're having some audio difficulties. I mean,
Yes.
I'm getting messages and stuff, and I want to apologize. It's kind of embarrassing, especially that we have
Yeah.
Shelly on.
I think
But
that's what I said earlier. I was gonna apologize too because I got a new mic, new mixer, and so Shelly's being great about this, but yeah. But everybody, just
it's
bear
yeah,
with us. Okay.
like you coming in and out, Shelly. So I don't know. All I know is not my fault. Okay, so so
Throw me on the bus.
yeah.
You can take my headphones off and I'll talk loud enough because my voice projects pretty loud. So you let me know if I need to take them off.
Okay, I think we're good. It's just I don't know. You're more of an audio expert than I am, so we'll just deal with it like that.
Okay,
But I do, Nemo. I did a lot of research and I have a lot of questions,
go for
and
it.
you keep asking more questions. I'm like, all right. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you because you got on a legacy award just recently.
Yeah, I got the Human Rights Campaign acknowledged me a couple of nights ago um, for the work that I've done in my community,
Hmm.
the LGBTQ plus community. Because I'm an openly gay woman, and it's something that you never heard of. I was never able to be me back in the day in the 90s. We were just different times. And so I've helped my community a lot. I do a lot of my pride events and um, just trying to be supportive. I get a lot of youth that reaches out to me privately that are afraid, um, or they tell me they admire me. They wish that they could, do what I do and be open and be happy. And so, there's a lot of things that I've done, but it was such a man, it was such a beautiful night. I was very emotional when I walked up there. I didn't think I was going to be out because I always have it together. I'm always like, I'm good. But this award was different. It just it's more on the because I said that other stuff is
Oh,
my
honest.
musical legacy,
Yeah, it's an
right?
honest award
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, it's more my
So,
life legacy
yeah.
than my musical legacy, if you know what I mean. So it just hit different. And then I started talking about my partner, about my fiance Mia, and I was talking about my father and my mom was there,
Hmm.
and I just said that I wish my father would have met her because all he ever wanted was for me to be happy and for me to be with someone who truly loved and appreciated me, and
Love
and
is love.
that's what I have. And I mean, I've always said this before. I live myself unapologetically, and I don't live my life for other people. I don't live life for validation.
Hmm.
Um, the only thing that I try to do is I try to be a good person, and I try to um, be there for other people. And I have my own relationship, and my most important relationship is my relationship with God, and that's all that matters to me. People have their opinions, but you know what, y'all? I'll be honest. Um, I probably have had a handful of people that are negative when it came to that.
They
You would
tend to be
think
older.
you would think that it would be like, but for some reason, like people just they
Yeah.
liked seeing me happy. It was,
Right.
and I guess because I had already had a long relationship with my fans already at this
Mhm.
point. Because I didn't start like just being, I didn't have a coming out moment. I just
Yep.
started sharing my life on my social
Right.
media, and that was it. And that was like in 2005, 2008, or
And you told your
2008, really.
mom and dad that you were moving, and then that you also was in a relationship with Mia, right? Is that how that came out?
No, no, this was years ago. I've
Okay.
been with Mia, only been with Mia for 5 years.
Okay. Okay.
This was in my old relationship, and every relationship teaches you something, right?
Mhm.
But that one, she lived in Lubbock, and I was going to be moving over there. And
Love it.
I had
Yeah.
to know why I was leaving. I
That'd be
mean,
boring.
there, uh, but I wound up living there for 5 years, and it just didn't work out. It just didn't happen. I mean, she was a great person, but we just, you can be two good people, but you can not be meant for each other.
Right.
And it's just, I just was not happy, and I needed to. And I was commuting a lot. I was on the road and commuting 6 hours to there and 6 hours back, and it was a lot for me.
Mm.
I was
Especially that
doing
drive.
drive for by myself, and still being on the road, and We had a restaurant over there, so doing that, and it was just there was a lot of things. But when things just don't work, they just don't work. It doesn't matter the situation. But I dated in between after that, and then of course Mia came into my life 5 years ago, and I have never been with someone that gives to me. Um, I'd always been the giver. I'd always been the one to
Sad.
relationship. That really was my fault. At the end of the day, it was my fault. I wasn't showing myself self-love first. I was too busy trying to please everybody else, and that's how it was. Being gay was like I hid that because I was trying to not disappoint anyone, my family, whatever, fans. And so living my life for a long time for other people. And I just decided, that I'm going to live for myself, and this is how I'm going to be. And if they love me, they love me. And of course,
Yeah.
my family unconditionally, my mom and
Right.
dad love me unconditionally, but so do my siblings and my family and
Mhm.
my close. But Mia she got after me when we first started dating because it was awesome to do things for me. And she's like, you need to let me do for you. Let me be here for you. I love you and I care for you. And she's such a beautiful soul, beautiful human being. And my family loves her. My mom loves her like a daughter, and she loves my mom like a mother. And that's all I've ever wanted is for my family to embrace,
Yeah.
the love. And so, but my fans too, they love her too.
Yeah.
She would be walking with Beba. I would be her Beba like I do.
Ah, nice.
You had mentioned, okay, because I'm always hungry because I'm trying to lose weight, but you had mentioned you had a restaurant. And I
You
was
I
what?
like,
did.
what type of restaurant and what was it called?
It was called Don Lenchos.
Oh,
Yeah,
Don Ventures.
it wasn't my dream per se. It was my ex's dream. But I was being supportive,
oh,
and
is that
but that
Mexican?
life wasn't my life. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was really good food though. I do have to say that.
How was it early in your career? Because I happened to be a DJ for KTNO. Ben Benavides. He had a station here in Dallas Fort Worth. And back then, whenever you used to come, I remember. I don't know if you remember Jerry Benavides. He was one of the DJs there, and he also sold. But we would always talk about, hey, Shelly's coming, Shelly's coming, and they would say that the rumor was that you were dating someone in your band. So that never happened.
uh, Years and years and years ago. That
Okay,
was like
so it's
I
fresh.
was like a teenager. I was a teenager at that
Yeah,
time. That,
okay.
that was a long time
It was
ago.
in the
You were gonna
90s, yeah,
say
back in the
she
day.
always brought a plato with to the DJ booth. I mean,
But you know what? I was talking to some of my artists about this, and I think I even told Mia back in the day. We wouldn't really talk about our personal life if you notice.
yeah,
Um, we wouldn't go there because when you become an artist, you start to belong to the people, and you always want to create this illusion that they have a chance with, you know, just it's part
Yeah,
of
flirtatious, right?
right,
doesn't mean anything. It's just, the more private you would keep your life, the better for your career.
yeah.
And but guys, this was before social media. This was before, all of these things. So it's you to keep those things private.
Who
I
was
got
the
my heart
new
broke.
variety band that had a couple that they never said they were together?
Art and Agnes, yeah,
Right?
Art.
Yeah, yeah. They
Um,
They were or
several.
they weren't?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they were together, I believe. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of us that, we would say, now we're single, and sometimes our partners or significant others wouldn't like it, but
yeah.
Yeah.
those times were really young, like in the early '90s, where I didn't even focus on dating. I was like, was too consumed in my career. I was never home. I was gone 6 days a week, y'all. For years and years, I was gone 6 days a week. And so I really didn't have time to commit to anybody. I wanted my career. That was my first priority. That was my, music and my friends were my first love for a very long time.
I had a story that I shared with some people about, because when I back in the '90s, you were a regular back then. Uh, no one ever restricted me about saying any kind of question except for Bobby. and I was going,
Oh, really?
yeah, and
Bobby?
Bobby just started in his, back in the '90s, and I was going,
Right.
"God, that's a little stuck up." And I said, "Why would he say don't talk no personal like that?" But then I I had a second
It's
thought afterwards. I said, "You know what? He's probably be lots of rumors and stuff, so I can understand why." Before I
Yeah,
did.
that you want to create this illusion that you, like I said, for men and women,
Mhm.
you want to create that, because there are a lot of people who, it's funny, they think that they're like, oh well, she's going to talk to me or he's going to
Yeah,
talk to me.
yeah.
It's
I'm gonna
just
put
part of
the
being an artist.
extra
Stephanie broke
tight
my
shirt
heart.
on
Yeah,
with my gold chains. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
Stephanie broke my
it's
heart when I found out she was having a baby. I said, "Oh, no."
who's that?
Oh,
Stephanie.
Stephanie. Steph-
This is back when
That's funny.
Stephanie.
Oh
He's
my
like
god.
I never told her
he
that, but
stalked her. Like
no, 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 no,
he
no.
would take her. I mean, the funny thing we were interviewing her, and he was said, "You remember when I took you out to dinner and stuff like this? Whenever your bus was broken down or something," and
No,
she
I
couldn't
took her to the
remember. She
mall.
didn't remember
Never took
nothing.
her like that.
But
Oh,
but Orlando remembered
I don't wanna
everything.
hear that.
He remembered all the
I
details of the
remember
Yeah,
date.
everything.
He
she said,
remembered the temperature that day
yeah,
of.
and she was like, "Oh, how nice."
She should have probably did.
That is so funny.
Nemo.
But no, yeah, it's just part of the game. It's part of being an artist. It's part of
Yeah,
like I said, there's a lot of things you have to be very disciplined. So
I had to press
You know,
the
you should really don't. You should really not talk very much because your audio is really horrible. You should just put on mute. Let Shelly talk all she wants to. Just give her a subject and let her go.
I have questions I have to. Okay, we had talked
okay.
earlier about you had an incident. Whoops.
Oh,
My
he pulled a rookie mood. He left his phone on.
all right.
It's been a complete rookie, rookie show here.
All right. I usually
This is
go
probably one
live
of our
to
first shows.
everyone.
Probably better than this.
Let's start over. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm gonna forget my question. Okay, but you said something about YouTube. You were having an incident about
Yeah.
copyrights and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
and we had on Helico, and I asked her about that. She said, it'd be a good question to ask Shelly. And I go, I'm gonna ask her about
Yeah.
YouTube. Yeah,
Yeah. It. I guess people feel, and I mean, I blame it on just our lack of knowledge. I think it's a lack of really us as an industry really knowing a lot of the business side of things. Um, and just because a song comes out, you don't have free will to do whatever you want with this song.
right.
And YouTube is definitely one of them. You can't without permission. You can't. And this one person who goes by Gigam Tejano is the YouTube channel. And I'm going to say it because it's somebody's, maybe my fellow Tejano artists that are out there are on this channel as well. And it's not to bash anyone. It's just you don't have permission. And what really would upset me about this person is I know it's a person in radio,
Hmm.
because this is how we operate. We center radio before it comes out on digital platforms because we want radio to help promote the fact that it's going to be coming out on digital platforms. And so it will not appear on YouTube until it's on digital platforms, because
Right.
that's considered one of your digital platforms when you
That's
when you
what you
upload.
want to happen. But this
When
guy
you,
didn't do that.
he does it before every time with everyone's. And in 2020 when Salsi Puedes came out, and I saw it on there, so I put a copyright infringement. I said a copyright infringement, and it got pulled down right away.
Hmm.
Today, I just released the new El Gallo Des, and there it is. I put it up last night myself also because I'll have it double, but that's fine. I own rights to the song. I wrote it, I own it. It's a Shell Shock Records 3 production. Um, so there, and it's the same person, and it just made me so pissed off. So there I go, and then I start looking through his or her channel, and I start seeing all my artists on there. And I'm like, okay, so I have to do a copyright infringement for every single song. And they started coming down. Des came down pretty quick because I'll comment in the first. I'm giving you a chance to pull this. You don't own this. You don't have permission. And he or she pulled it off. And then I went ahead and went through with a copyright infringement. That's my first step. Now, if this continues, then I will get my attorney involved. But oh,
Hell yeah. That's the way it
we have
should be done. Good
It
for
you
you.
know, that's why we don't play music on this show.
well, it's the reason you don't play music on the show is because you would have to pay licensing to
Yes.
us. Okay, so it's because you just don't want to pay licensing, buddy. It's not because you.
Well,
Yeah, see?
that's
See?
probably one reason.
Cheapskate.
No, no,
Do
no.
you know,
Well,
I some stations speeding up and slowing down so that it won't catch and they won't have to pay. So me up when I hear Alicia, I was on the radio. I heard her song last night. So they played El Gallo Des and it was sped up. And I reach out to them personally. Hey, I know what you're doing, dude. I know the game. Um, but we have to. It's sad, that our industry and then they try to say like, well, we're trying to help you. No, you're not. You're stealing from us, man. You're not helping us. You're not.
there are a
You're
lot
not
of
helping us.
yeah, there are a lot of internet radio programs on YouTube, on Facebook that don't buy the license. Now, our friend Lawrence, he he buys those. What is that?
Oh yeah.
Ask him.
Oh
BMI,
yeah.
TMI.
all those other
But
ones.
how do you
Oh
feel?
yeah.
How do you feel about the internet radios that just play and don't pay?
Um,
Get the license.
you know, it's hard to really tell nowadays. I mean, I think most of them started to do so. Um, I normally am very very selective with who I would send my music to and who I send my artist music to. Um, Rosie Allison, who's my musical distributor and my social media promoter as well, who
Mhm.
she's been team for a very long time because she does an amazing job. Um, she knows too. She knows I'm very picky. And sometimes there are one person that you send to and they have stations, and I'm like, oh, I need to know who those little stations are
Right.
because I need to know the standard of how they're operating and are they doing things legit. But we can't forget that, yeah, Tejano music, it's a genre, but it's a business as well. And if you're not running things the way that it needs to run, it's not gonna be a functioning machine. It's just gonna break down and it's not gonna move anywhere. And that's where Tejano has been for so many years. Which is why, starting Shell Shock, and now that I'm on this side, it was different when it was me and I was still my own label and I was my artist. Um, it was easier for me to promote myself because I was already, now that I'm, a record label CEO, I'm having to learn so much, and technology changes every day. And I mean, as awesome as digital is, it really affected the music industry bad in a bad. Um,
Let me ask you this, because I we've been talking about this the copyrights and stuff for a while, and with different people and stuff. Now, I know on Facebook they get they get
they get
muted
blocked.
and stuff
Yeah,
like that. I like
yeah.
that. But on YouTube, it seems like they're not doing that. And I was thinking, is that because now that YouTube has the music like uh, catalog, I guess that you can subscribe to YouTube and to their music. And so I was
Right, right.
YouTube covered with that license, and they pay you as the creators put it on there. I don't
You
know.
have you have to have a certain agreement, but also it's a certain agreement with whoever you're going to be posting. You have to have permission to do
Mhm.
things. There's a lot of creator things that you can do, but you have to have that. And I would have to know about it, obviously, if you're going to be
So you
sharing
don't
my.
know if YouTube hasn't covered all their creators with like
I
their music.
my stuff out for so many, and but I can promise you this: if you're out there and you do have Shelly Lares music on there, you better take it off because I am gonna, eventually um, come down on everyone that does not have permission to play my music or my artist music. Um, and it's just, again, it's business, and it's a way we have to protect our music. And I do have pay for this certain service that flags me when anyone is sharing the new music, like the shop artist.
Right.
So I'm gonna know. I'll know immediately.
Okay. Now, because I had music videos from back in the '90s that's on YouTube, and I got those permissions from like EMI, Sony, and all that other stuff.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think I'm
Yeah, you have to have permission. I mean,
right.
that's
So I
how it is. I mean, people think it's just it's not free will, guys. It's art, and the music industry really has really suffered. We're still behind on protecting the art of
yeah,
music.
yeah. 'Cause
Um,
I remember asking you like a year ago. I said, Shelly, I want some of your videos from 2000 to today, and like that. And he said, "Oh, you could just grab them from my YouTube channel or from this." And I said, "Well, I need written consent because I don't have permission for that. Other than you saying it, I need writing before I would put that into my
well,
It's the
I don't
show."
have the. I think you're talking about the '90s stuff that needs to be reformatted. Yeah, I have a lot of '90s stuff that is still on VHS.
Look,
Sure,
you see back here, all that's VHS.
That's all
I
he
have.
has, a whole, yeah,
Yes,
library of
I
VHS tapes.
digitized all this stuff, and then I've got a couple suitcases full over there that
Yeah,
digitized.
I worked really hard to gain ownership of my music.
Oh yeah.
Um, I worked really hard at that, and that was really one of my goals to make sure that I had it and stuff like that. I still have 4 albums that are not even on digital platforms. My
Wow.
first album, Tu Solo Tu, that's not up for digital. That's not on digital. My Quiero Ser Tu Amante, which was my big one of my biggest albums in '94 with the red dress that had Soy tu amor, es que estoy enamorada, no quiero saber, quiero ser tu amante. That album,
Hmm.
still not up. My Aquí Me Encuentro is still not up. I have 4 albums that haven't even I hadn't put because the only place that you could get my entire discography where you can download it and I get the 100% is on my website, and I did that purposely. Um, but I know some of the fans have been wanting to hear those albums, and I announced it the other day on my TikTok live, and I said that I will be putting some of those albums up pretty soon on digital my digital platform because I posted my LND Legacy 40 songs for 40 years last year and it's hit over 3 million
Oh wow.
streams. So yeah,
That is
the
cool.
fans definitely love the old school stuff too.
Yes. I wish fans would give the new artists more of a chance.
Yeah, I've been such a big advocate for the new generation, but there's two sides to that. Um, the new generation does still need a lot of direction when it comes to the standard of their recording and their production and song selection and key. And, there's so many elements that are important. And just because you're, starting out, it doesn't mean that you're ready to be on record. You know, some people are not ready. Some people I listen, they send me music and they're like, oh, I want to record. And I have to be honest with them. I'm like, your intonation is not there yet. You need to go get a vocal coach or learn some vocal warm-ups, learn some vocal techniques, get better at your craft because you just don't just because you want to sing and be on record, that's not how it works. So I
You could do
think
that for your
the
privately
level of
and for your family, but it's not going to be aired on radio and stuff.
friends will tell you sing great all day, but you need someone that knows you. And I tell every artist it takes money.
Yes.
Okay, it takes money. And with technology, again, it makes people think that everyone and their mother can record at home, and not everybody is an engineer, not everybody is a producer, not everyone has the right knowledge to give you a good product. And I just feel like the standard of Tejano, there are a lot of new picking up the standard. They are doing well. They're recording good songs. Their arrangements are great. Their mix and mastering is good. The song selection for them vocally is good. But then you have some that I hear some things like, wow, how and why, and be mean. It's just to help them. And I tell them, and if you want to work with one of the best producers, it's going to cost you, but why don't you go sell barbecue plates or save money until you have that money to spend on a good product?
For the
Mhm.
longest time, Bob Gallarza, was it? He was longest time he used to just preach that.
Yeah.
There's so many people coming out with just mediocre stuff, and it just flooded the market, and it just hurt the market
Yeah.
more than anything.
And people think that it doesn't, and I'm like, how now that I'm taking on this producer side and record label. I'm producing a lot of different genres right now, a lot, not just Tejano. I'm producing a lot of things. I've gotten out as far as marketing, and I'm building a marketing team right now, um, for my artists, especially for El Gallo Des. Um, and I've been research, and I'm starting to talk to people that know more than I do.
Hmm.
And um, our mentality in Tejano is so far behind. It's like we're like our brain is like this. This is where we keep our
We shouldn't be. We've been here for 40, 50 years. There's no reason why we should be there.
exactly. And or we think we're just used to working the same thing, right? And that's what I'm doing at this moment. Yeah, I'm working the area and the network that I already know and I've established, but I'm learning this over here for my artists, and it's not easy and it takes time. And but we definitely deserve to be there because I love to ask a question. Um, do you really think that Tejano music is part of Latin music? Do
You
y'all?
ask this of your artist.
What's that?
You ask that question of your artist.
I'm asking you guys. Do you think that Tejano is
Oh
part of
yeah,
Latin?
of
Okay,
course.
so then people say not Tejano.
Some people don't. The people not in our genre.
Tejano is so many things.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Agree.
And that's why the new generation is trying to bring in their influences. Okay. Um, and because I tell this all the time, music evolves constantly, y'all.
Mhm.
Music is evolving as it should. Um, if I'd have stayed and I didn't evolve, if I'd have stayed esta sound, I wouldn't have had my biggest hits.
Yeah,
Ganas de Besarte, Soy tu amor. Those songs I would not have had I stayed in just that. Nothing wrong. If that's the style you want to stay with, fine. But what I'm saying is incorporate all the things to me. I started implementing more keyboards. I started implementing the accordion. I started implementing a melodica, orchestra. I mean, I was already doing brass, but stuff like that, instrumentation wise, that was still familiar to Tejano fans because we like everything, you know. Um, and that's always been our blessing and our curse is that we are so many things.
yeah,
That's been our blessing, our curse because people don't know where to put. You know,
yeah.
when we were with Sony, Sony came in the picture. All your big major companies came in. I was like, man, this is it. This is going to take Tejano to the next.
Back in the
Yeah.
90s.
William Morris Agency came in. Yeah,
Yeah.
With I was with William. I was doing
that's what I'm
some
saying. Yeah, they're big. They were big time.
um, big time shows, but and big money too. We made money,
Mhm.
um, but we still wound up staying just regional Mexican. Um, some of us got out to more. I'm talking about the Sony artists, right? Some of us branched
Right.
out. Your La Mafias and all of them, they branched out to more international stardom, which is huge. So I just think at the end of the day, if you're gonna be in the Tejano realm, and this is what I teach my artists who don't know Tejano at all, because El Gallo Des, he knew no Tejano, and I love that because
Mariachi mostly, right? And old school.
he's coming in with a beautiful new sense of like, wow, this genre. He's blown away by Tejano
Hmm.
because y'all do everything here. He's like he's freaking out, but he's like, this is amazing, and it makes me feel so proud because it took someone outside to come in here and show appreciation for us,
Yeah.
Right.
and now he's part of it, and now he's being welcomed to the Tejano world, if you will. And I love that, and I think that we need to just, if you're going to come in, as long as you do it. It could be a conjunto song, okay? But if you're gonna do a conjunto song, make sure it's the freaking top of the line production song, conjunto song that you're doing. If you're gonna do come in top of the line, I mean, don't give the genre half-ass shit because the genre deserves more than that from us. You
Do you,
know,
do you think Frontera is a tech Tejano band?
I mean, I mean, their sound is Tejano. I
Right?
mean, the sound is Tejano. I mean, I don't really follow their like their social media and stuff. I don't follow their interviews or anything like that. But I know that even just a small little hashtag of the word Tejano would be so badass
Yeah.
because attention to who we are.
Right.
You know, it brings a lot of attention to
It
Tejano.
does bring
So
attention. Yep.
Yeah, I think they actually said that a lot of their influences were Tejano artists.
musically, they're doing Tejano artists have done. I mean, musically, and they're from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
The Valley.
so you know, now we could say that about a lot of groups like that. We can
Mhm.
say that. No, we can say that about Intocable. We could say that, even La Mafia. We could say that about them.
Yep.
uh, you know, but they're still playing our Tejano venues. They're still getting our Tejano listeners. They're still getting our Tejano airwaves.
Mhm.
So if our community has embraced them, then they should consider themselves Tejano too.
Right. Yep.
I mean, that's just my feeling on it. But I don't feel kind of like you're not this. I just think that music should just be embraced for whatever it is, and all I'm trying to do is create musical legacies for my artists, and the first thing that I try to do is my first question to them is, who are you who do you want to be as an artist, and what speaks to you as an artist? I'm not trying to shove Tejano down their throats. I'm not trying to push my style on them. I ask them first, and if they don't know, then I'm like, okay, I need to give you some time to go think about this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
figure out who you are, and then come back.
Yeah.
But the majority of the artists that I'm producing right now, which is El Gallo Des, Alicia C, Annika, Kiana, Ali, they they know who they are and they know what they like.
Right.
So, okay. And Alicia C, her album Cada Parte de Mi just dropped on the 28th. We debuted number 2 on the iTunes charts of all Spanish music,
That is cool.
and
Wow.
it's a Latin album. Everybody thought, okay, Shelly Lares is producing it, it's gonna be Tejano. And a lot of people don't know me as a producer yet. Not on that side of the realm of the spectrum. They know
Mhm.
me from Tejano, they know I've done some country, they know I've done some international rock, but they don't know exactly what I do yet. Um, but I created these things, all of these elements that Alicia said spoke to her. Tropical, she's Puerto Rican also. Of
Mhm.
course, the bachata. I created a song for her that is flamenco, Spanish, mariachi, hip hop. Um,
Nice.
I mean,
I love salsa and bachata.
uh,
I used to teach and dance to all that.
that's awesome, and it's a beautiful genre. And
Yeah.
I didn't,
I love to learn.
I listened to it, but as a producer, I had to study it because I needed to do it justice.
Yeah.
So I researched a lot of different styles. I listened to the instrumentation, I listened to the melody, and then I'm like, okay, this is going to be Alicia's song, the Acaricias. And you know I worked with her vocally because I mean I'm a vocalist, I'm an artist also, so I know how to work with artists on that side when we're working together. And I always, I mean, I may be hard on them, but um, I know what they can do, and
Yeah.
and I'm gonna if I have to pull it out of them, I'm gonna pull it out of them. And I want them to really captivate. And I told them, I said, our people's attention span nowadays is 3 seconds. Like, like
Sad.
you
Yeah.
don't count musically in 3 seconds and listening to the music. They're like, oh, I like the music. Let me hear what she's gonna do. You
Yeah.
know, I go, that is the type of music that I want to create, and that's what I'm creating right now. And you know, I know a lot of people are watching me. I know there are a lot of people are waiting to see what's going to happen, but I have really huge goals for my artists and for my label. And I have a great team. I have a great team that helps me, and it's not just me. Of course, I have the ultimate say, but um, from my financial advisors to turn to friend, that helps me with behind the scenes, to Rosie Allison, to a Black Sheep Creation who does video production with me, to Mia who does hair and makeup, to have to Kiki Cuz, who's someone that I work with in Thrall, Texas, in his studio. We write music together, and now I have my engineer Dan over here in my studio. So it takes a team. Jose Rosario is a huge part of my team, and I don't know if y'all know Jose, but Jose and I go way back to my Manny days. He did A&R for Manny, and then he was also a record executive for Capitol, and he was the record executive when I was with Sony. So now he's part of
Right.
Shell Shock.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool. How many people? How many artists do you have in your stable?
Well, okay, the exclusive artist I have is El Gallo Des. He's my exclusive Shell Shock artist. The other artists are with me, so I still do represent them and I produce them. Is Alicia C,
Hmm.
uh, who's from the Valley. Kiana, she's my 18-year-old from New Mexico. And Allie is my 12-year-old that you guys met from Conrad.
Yeah.
So,
Which one's your
yeah.
favorite?
Oh, and they all blow me away. I mean, they just, I mean, they inspire me so much as a writer. Like last night, I was driving back from Pflugerville, and I wrote 3 songs on the way home. I was like,
That's wow.
That's
I'm
cool.
just like,
Dynamite.
yeah, and the way that I write is, I write a lot differently than I used to. I used to write a lot of melodies first, and then I would work on music. But I do all of the instruments, all of the arrangement first, so it sounds like an instrumental when I work on it. And then I begin to work on the melody, and then I give the lyrics to Jose Rosario or to El Gallo Des, because now El Gallo Des is an amazing writer. He's just freaking me out. He's just he's so phenomenal. And now Annika too. She's a great writer. I like to try to get my artists to write,
Hmm.
um, because I know they have it in them. So I'm going to start working with them a little bit at a time. But they all, man, they just inspire me. And then I'll hear something and I'm like, this is for them. I need to write this for them. And I won't leave it alone until I write it until it's done. But I write in all my music in its entirety first, and then I go from there.
Does your mom do any more writing?
No, she hasn't done any writing. Mama's retired. No, I don't know if she's watching. I don't know if she's watching right now. I think she was going to try to watch,
Oh,
but no, I haven't asked mom to write. I've been doing a lot of writing with Jose and with David, um, and Annika also. But I'm going to be producing another young artist. Her name is Miriam Lopez. She's really huge on TikTok. She's from the Oregon area. We've been trying to get her to come to San Antonio, but it's okay because I'm still creating music for her. Um, she came to Fiesta. I did a showcase. I did 2 showcases during Fiesta week here in San Antonio. I did an all-girl showcase
How
at
was
Market
that?
Square, that my band backed up, and then we did show that Alicia C and her partner Mary. This was Alicia C's baby, and I was musical director, and it was called um, Fiesta Latina Música Sin Fronteras, and that was my band, the brass section from La 45 and Mariachi Campanas de America, and
wow.
we backed up Alicia C, Annika El Gallo Des, and Angel Jimenez, and it was at the Joe Long Theater here in San Antonio, and it was
You know, we
just
weren't invited.
incredible. So, well, we're going to take it on the road. We're going to be going. We're going to take it on the road, and we hope to start next year. God willing, we'll start next year if the
That is
girls,
cool.
if the girls want to do it. But I already promised them I'm going to continue to be the musical director. But so you were talking about 40 songs within a few days of each other that I had to put 2 different bands together, or 4 different bands together. So I brought Miriam from Oregon to be in the showcase, and she had so many TikTok followers in here that loved her in the Texas, and so she went by my studio, and then Gallo Des and I were there, and she's like, I want to write, so I wish I could write, and I said, you can.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I don't even know how. She goes, but I have been having like this melody in my head, and she's like, Porque no lo olvido. She sang that, and I didn't have my studio set up yet. I had nothing in there, so I just had like my couch in there, and I grabbed my phone because any musician who's a true musician will have a piano on their little phone.
Ah,
So I opened up my phone and I start finding the key. I'm like, okay, so da, da. So I start playing and I tried da, da. So I'm going in different keys to see if she can, where she's comfortable. And she's looking at me, and then David starts, El Gallo de starts singing the lyrics and the rest of the melody. And she's looking at us like, what are y'all doing? And we're just writing this song. And I'm like, okay, it's going to be.
It happens
So
like that.
I start going, and then there go my wheels. My wheels are spinning. And I said, well, Miriam, you just started writing your very first song.
that is cool.
Just in who
Awesome.
you're around, you have to be around people who inspire you. You have to be around people who lift you and who want to get you to the next level. Don't surround yourself by people who want to keep you down. And you have to control. You really do, because it's imperative. People underestimate peace of mind too much. And if
Yeah.
you have peace of mind, you're powerful. You're
Yeah,
powerful for sure.
Okay. Well,
absolutely.
thank you. We're about an hour show. I know Nemo's got a man. I am really sucking at this audio thing.
Yeah, yeah, it
It's
is.
okay. It's okay.
Let's
It's
see.
okay.
You should really text your questions.
I probably should.
Just turn off your audio.
Okay, but at the end of the show, we try to answer questions from the chat. And
Okay.
so, Nemo, you're gonna have to help me because I don't have my glasses on.
Oh,
Uh,
that's me. I don't have my glasses on.
Just
all
put
right.
it on the screen.
Okay, let's see. This is from Ford Muscle Luis. I said,
Ford Muscle Luis 97. Hello, Shelly Lares. I always love your old school songs. Who doesn't? I mean, in all
who
reality,
doesn't?
Aw, thank
that takes you
you.
back, like going back to the road trips to San Antonio. Those are the best.
And there's our Mark. He always likes to say Yahoo for us for Nemo. Nemo hates it when I say Yahoo. But go ahead.
Yeah, he gets
No,
all
but yeah, Tejano classics will always be Tejano classics.
right.
You can't.
You know,
Yeah.
Elsa
Senior,
Garcia, Fama, all those. Like that's just cool.
senior artists almost like you're calling them senior citizens. Oh,
Whenever you ask about senior artists,
yeah.
you're saying that they're seniors.
And then
Oh.
Alfredo.
Oh
Hey,
Lord.
okay. Alfredo. Oh, that's Ali's grandfather. He's saying hello to
Okay.
everybody. And
Yay.
let's see what else. Love your hat, Shelly. That
Thank
will be
you.
yes. And Alfredo said hi.
Hello. Those
Mart.
are my peeps.
Yeah. Shelly, we can get
Bit of
a
your process, how you go about creating a new song for yourself and your artist under your label. I guess we just did. I mean,
oh yeah, we
because
just said that.
yeah, we just did
Okay.
that. So perfect.
Let's
That's a good
see.
question.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you for that.
there's Allie's grandmother.
Hi, Janie.
Oh, and Allie. She
Oh,
says,
Allie's on.
Hi, Mama. Hi, Mama. She's
okay.
starting junior high now.
Right. Does she
My
have any
daughter.
more turtles? I wonder.
Yes. Oh yeah. I keep remember those turtles.
Mine. I have Speedy. Speedy's mine. That's my.
Let's
Yeah.
see. Let's see. What's up, folks? Including Oraldo Nemo Tejano videos of the '90s are definitely a throwback, especially those different artists.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
I love watching when I'm cleaning up.
Yeah.
Put on those old shows of mine that I used to do and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ali says, "Speak it into the existence, like my dad always says."
Yeah. Amen.
Let's see. Alfredo's a big. Well, I don't want to say big fan, but he's a regular on our show.
Love it. He loves y'all show. Yeah. He's
Well,
great.
thanks. Uh, every time I get on stage, my
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 aches and pains go away.
okay.
Must be a adrenaline rush.
I thought it said acne goes away.
No, his aches and pains go away, and I guess that's good therapy, right? Music's always just part of music. Music therapy. You say it takes people, relaxes people, and it heals people. So
Yeah,
there you
it
go.
does.
Okay, I don't understand this. Is that a Selena pop rocket? I don't know what
Do you
that
have
is.
something in your background that could be a Selena Pop Rockets?
Oh, no, those are all my Wonder Womans.
Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah, they're my Wonder Woman ones. I
yeah.
was like, are they looking? I forgot. I thought maybe they were looking at my paint because I have a fan of mine. painted a picture of Selena and I together, but I forgot it. It's at my studio now. I used to have it in here. This is my office at home, but I moved everything to my studio, and I was like, are they seeing my painting? But no, they're looking at my Wonder Woman.
Hey, was Yolanda trying to be your fan president?
Yeah,
Is that crazy?
yeah.
You
She
want?
tried it first, but my dad was like, no, go.
No, Coach. So y'all, your dad
Yeah,
saw through it. Wow,
yeah,
good
Wait,
for your
Yolanda.
good for Mr. Fred. God bless him.
yeah.
Who are
Thank
you
you.
referring to? I don't, Yolanda.
Yolanda Saldivar,
Yeah,
the one that
yeah.
was Selena's fan president,
Oh,
the
oh, okay.
infamous.
I was gonna. Did we talk about something, Yolanda?
No,
Okay. All right. Let's see. Latin Groove News. It says hot
Eso
tamale.
se.
Shelly Lares.
Guatemala's and Shelly Lares. David Mares was signed by Manny Guerra. Then he signed you. I didn't know that. Yeah,
Yep.
he didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
were
that's
both with Manny.
that's Tejano history right there in all
I mean,
reality.
but think about it. Think about it. Isn't it crazy? Like the reason that they hired Hot Tamales was because of David Mares, and then David and I wound up on the same level, on the
Label.
same label. He's like one of my closest friends now. And speaking of Little Joe, remember how I told you my brother-in-law would play his music? That was my very first collaboration I was asked to do in 1993 was by Little Joe.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, here's our friend Lawrence Hugo. I said it right this time.
Yeah,
Hugo. My friends in Ola Shelly. Congrats on your
on your
legacy award.
legacy award.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I've heard these stories many times and love it every time. 10 years old. Oh,
About her growing up.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I thought it was cool when I heard it, and I said, we have a whole different audience, and I said they have to hear this story. Like, okay, this is
Yeah,
such a cool
man.
story.
Well, when I started, the my inspiration women that were before me, there was only like seven of us.
Yeah.
I busted out into the industry in 1982.
There's an explosion of women on in Tejano industry now.
Laura Canales, Janie C. Ramirez, Patsy
Mhm.
Torres, Elsa Garcia,
Selena.
Linda, Selena, and myself.
Right.
And Selena and I we were the same age. She was only 7 months older than me, so we were the youngest two in the industry when we started. Um, but Patsy Torres was my mentor and still is my mentor to this day.
Mhm.
She's someone that I highly look up to even now. I mean, the woman is a doctor. I'm like, but she was someone that always inspired me, and I called her even with this UTSA thing. I call, ask her for advice, and she continues to be my mentor. She continues to be, but I also apply what she tells me. I don't just listen to
Yeah, you're not
her.
one of those that just want to hear. Yeah, good for
I-
you.
Is
Good
there
for
a
you.
doctorate in education?
Yes, she
Okay.
is.
So did she help you with the curriculum writing and stuff like that?
And I just asked her a couple of questions about an artist in residence because I wasn't familiar with what an artist in residence was. So
I never
she,
heard of it either,
I
other
had
than
never.
ladies.
You're
But
not
then
you're not an artist. Hello.
my cousin is a professor here at Texas A&M here, and so I called my little cousin, and he filled me in on the rest of it, and I was like, oh, okay, I understand.
Alfredo's blaming me for everything, and he should. All this audio
Yeah,
problems that we're having,
it's
it's
absolutely going to
me.
be his fault.
I should have never tested
Totally.
new equipment on Shelly's show.
Yeah,
I'm so glad.
it's like
I thought I was enhancing the show. I was trying to make it
it's
better.
like testing a new field on the Super Bowl.
Y'all were telling me that I knew a lot about the sound, but I told y'all ever since I was young, my father always said you got to learn everything, you got to ask questions, and you got to watch me, and so he would have us, setting up the sound and rolling up the chords, and he taught me how everything works. And then plus, I've always been the kind of kid that would say like, "What is that? What does that do?" And I would do that to Manny Guerra in the studio when he was, at the board. I'd
Mixing.
be like, "What did you just do there? And what was that for?" And he'd look at me like, "How does this kid want to know?" Because I threw him out of the studio by the end of the first album. I was like, "We don't need you in here." But
I get
one time I was performing in Midland. It was probably in 2019, and I was already all dressed. I had my heels on, and they come out to the van, and the people from the venue are like, "We have a problem," and I'm like, "What happened?" They're like, "It's with the sound." I said, "Well, what's wrong with the sound?" They're like, "Well, we don't have enough channels." And I'm like, okay. And they're trying to explain it. I said, I'm a visual person. I have to see what's happening. So there I go I'm dressed up and
Yeah.
I'm checking out everything. I'm like, oh no, well they can do this. And so I start rewiring the system and I have the guys do a sound check. I set the sound. I'm like, let's go.
Nice. Nice. Now
Yeah.
you see everybody with an iPad. They're walking
I kind
around.
yeah, it's kind of cool. Everybody asks me that when they go into my studio because
Hmm.
I mean, it's a preference. I was talking about this the other day with Allie's parents actually, and her uncle and aunt. Um, I don't have the console per se, the physical console in my studio. I have it on my monitor. I'm like, yeah, no, that's just yeah, that's not me. I like it
In
clean.
Nice, nice.
So
Vegas,
yeah,
the
yeah.
DJs, I was going, the sound people, they were like on their iPads and they were
Yeah,
fixing
now
everything.
everything's digital. Everything's digital and nothing. And you don't carry power amps anymore. Speakers are power, and it's like it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of
See,
Vegas, speaking of Vegas, we kind of have a drinking game. Anytime I name drop, I say
let's
mention
not
more.
go there. Let's just keep going.
Okay, so next year is the 20th anniversary. Are you gonna have a presence there with your artists and stuff?
Yeah, I didn't
I
realize
know
it was.
you probably won't perform, but we were all
Oh
hoping.
no, no, no! I
Yeah.
won't perform. Yeah, no. Well, I've been part of the Tejano Music National Convention since 2004, and then I had my Shelly's All American Showcase for 10 years, where I brought new artists from all over the nation. I wanted to give them a platform to perform in front of the amazing fans in Vegas. And then after that, I started asking um, for David and Sarah Chavez to give the band that did the best on my stage the year before the opportunity to open up for the Gran Baile the following year. So there was a lot of really good things that came out of that. I mean, I didn't go to Vegas this year, and so many fans were still messaging me, "Where are you? Where are you?" I was like, I don't have my showcase anymore, but I do plan on taking my artists. I want to try to do my own little showcase there at the expo, God willing. But I would like to be there to celebrate with them for 20. I mean, 20 years.
Yeah, you
That's a
deserve it.
long
You've been
time.
there all this time.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's been a long journey.
Okay. I was I read Latin Groupies to turn off your cell phone and
Turn off
avoid.
your to avoid feedback.
I just did it. It still has feedback. Uh,
Yeah, well, that's what we were saying. We're like, it's a weird thing. I don't know what's happening. What's that?
It's that Walmart microphone you got.
That's not the microphone. I got this one on Amazon. It's the mixer thing that I got off Amazon. It was working fine yesterday. I was with Lawrence and to test it out and stuff.
He
Okay.
got
Uh, all right. Let's see. Intellectual property rights are scared or
Sacred.
sacred? I
And
can't read.
yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
they are.
There's uh, uh,
Cuba
Google.
Radio is proud to have ASCAP, BMI, SESAC, GMR, All Tracks, SOCAN, Resound, PPL, and PRS, and we report to sound strips.
Sound exchange.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
it's sound exchange. Okay,
Do you need all
I
that?
couldn't see.
That's a lot of them.
Um, okay, so you know what those companies are, right?
Right. They check on, and that's how artists get paid and stuff
They're
like.
they're the ones that collect our royalties for us.
Hmm.
Right.
I'm a BMI writer. I've been a BMI writer since 1989. So BMI, Sound Exchange, all of these people are in
So
charge of keeping track of our royalties for us. So yeah,
you don't have. There's not like one license that you have to pay. That like, let's say
they
if
all
I you have to do all of them.
different ones. I'll give you an example. When I released Nada de Ti, which
Mhm.
was I did with Demi Garcia, Sonia de la Paz, and Monica Saldivar. Those that the writers of that song were four writers, and
Wow.
they all publishing. So if the person that's playing the song is going to play the song, then they need to make sure that all four of those publishers and writers are paid.
Right, but like if you just have BMI, like let's say if I would had an internet radio show and I just paid for a BMI license.
Uh, I'm sure that now maybe they have one that's kind of condensed. I mean, I'm not really sure to be honest. I know there's some one that's called 360, but
Mhm.
I don't really know the whole technical part of that. I just know that BMI comes down pretty hard on. And
Woo.
I actually met with the head of BMI in Austin not that long ago, Mitch Ballard. I took David El Gallo Des there because I wanted him to learn about, he's a BMI writer now, so I wanted him to learn about that part. But he was actually telling me that right now, as we speak, that they're actually working on coming down even harder on internet stations very soon.
Okay.
So those stations that are not paying for licensing are going to get shut down.
Now there's have you heard of Tejano TV? It's on Roku and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
They still have to do all that stuff.
absolutely.
I think Juan Mendoza has a Mastingo on radio. I don't know if he has.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
assuming
faced licensed
he's
station.
licensed and all that. Okay. So does that cover his radio station
I
and
mean,
Tejano TV?
we had it. Yes, he makes sure that he's protected. He's a really good friend, and years ago, this was a conversation he and I had,
Hmm.
and I did tell him, that Sound Exchange and these people were going to be coming down pretty hard on internet stations pretty soon. And sure enough, he got a letter, and we talked about it. And I said, I know it's a lot of money, Juan, but I mean that's all part of, if you want to have a station,
Yeah,
this is what
supporting the.
this is what it entails. It's like, let's talk about having a restaurant. You want to have a restaurant, but you want to have just seats, but what about your equipment? Or you want to have your equipment, but you got to have
Your
seats.
food,
It's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's cheap to have a business, and it's not cheap to have these stations either, especially
Oh, yeah.
these stations that are stepping up and doing it legit, that are paying for licensing. That's the right. That's there's it's the law. I
Yeah,
mean, the
it's
law. It's not
protocol.
Yeah.
not
And
being,
the
oh,
only
they're being these artists that we know. And even if we are, yeah, we are, because that's our work, you
yeah.
know. But it's law, dude. It's
Hmm.
it's it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Nemo's always asking me, say, well, how come we don't have this music? I said, I don't have any of those
Because
rights.
he's being a cheapskate.
Well, that
Thank
too,
you.
because I don't have
That's you.
sponsors. No one's paying me and stuff like that. And I'm sure some of these are.
You would be if you could get sponsors for your station. I mean, you
Oh
could,
yeah, if I had sponsors, well,
yeah. But then
I,
you'd have to work to get sponsors too. So,
yes.
yeah,
And this is more of a hobby. I mean,
yeah,
we enjoy it. We're doing it to promote
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
yeah.
And y'all do a good job.
His whole
Yeah,
ordeal is just to try to continue to promote the
that's
Hano market
awesome.
and stuff, and that was the idea of this whole podcast.
But for our fans out there, Shelly said she was gonna maybe write something for an intro for us. Because
Oh,
what I
and
played
Yeah.
Jay,
earlier,
you never should have said that because he will not forget that, and he's gonna call you every week before we go on. Hey,
no,
have
no,
you
no,
wrote
no,
it
no,
down?
no. I'll give her a
I
couple months to
swear.
work on it.
Anything but that.
On that intro, yeah, it was
Come on.
terrible. I
Hey,
know.
so speaking of 360, don't you have a TV show now? Is that right?
Oh yeah, Tejano 360.
Tejano 360. I had a show called
It's Tejano Today.
Tejano Today,
It's
and
very
I
simple.
had I had new artists on there as well. I know that they're redoing some stuff, and they're revamping some things. So we're just kind of
We
waiting. But they continue to do amazing stuff. I mean, I'd have to say it's been great working with the Hano 360 network, and
we had
you know,
Alex last week from Tejano 360.
yeah, he's still doing his show and stuff. I
Yeah,
mean, but mind you, they had branched off with several shows, which is
right.
great. We want to see the growth of everything happening, but of course it takes time,
Yeah.
energy, money, and
Are you going to
yeah.
continue doing it?
I don't know. We haven't really talked about it. Since I have so many other things happening right now, they actually went to go support Alicia C's EP release, so I was very happy to see my Tejano 360 family there.
Sweet.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I have a lot of things that people are asking me right now. I mean, I have everyone talking to me about a podcast, and there's talk about a couple of production companies wanting to do my documentary of my career and my life, and
That's gonna be
there's a lot.
cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that people don't know that I went
Yeah.
through in my career, and
Yeah.
what I experienced, and everybody's like, when are you going to tell your story, and I'm like, well, one
I,
of these days.
yeah.
You're slowly but surely saying
I
it on all
know.
the
Everybody
podcasts.
knows just bits and pieces, and
Yeah.
the bits
Yeah,
and pieces
yeah,
are incredible. they have me locked in every time I was listening to one of your interviews. Like,
You
it's
know,
awesome.
experiences, maybe experiences I've had on the road, exactly what I've gone through, um, in my own way to kind of, develop my road in this and my name in this industry. Because I really have solidified my sound and my music
Absolutely.
and my name in this industry. But I've done it with a lot of, um, you know,
Help.
class and
Oh,
help, absolutely. Um, but there, I don't, I'm not, never been the type of person to just go out there and, throw everybody under the bus. But, I've had some experiences in the industry that, you know, were obviously didn't deter me from doing what I'm doing, or they didn't knock me off the road. I always say that to be an artist, you have to, it's almost like a boxer, you got to know when you're always going to bob and weave. You're
Mhm.
going to have to know when to take the punch, and you're going to have to know when to throw the punch. So that's pretty much how it is for an artist. It's not easy.
and
Well,
I think, like, even like your mom and dad, they've always been stern with all the promoters and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Um,
my dad didn't play. My
yeah,
dad
yeah,
did not
I
play.
remember. Yeah,
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 he didn't, and I got that from my father. Like, he would tell me, you got to watch me. I'm not always going to be here. And but mom and dad really, and my father, his just his demeanor, his character. He was very respected
well
in this
respected, absolutely.
industry, very well respected. But he, he did everything to protect me, and but also teach me. Um, the business. And so, and then after dad got off the road, mom took over as road manager, and mama did it till I retired.
Yeah,
So, it's always been the three of us. We never had really let anyone outside of us three into our business. And so now, I love it. I love doing things the way that I want to do it. And I learn from the best. But my dad was a businessman. I mean, they owned a business before we even went on the
yeah,
road, but we didn't know the music business. We
yeah,
learned the hard way. We were green. We knew nothing. We
yeah.
knew nothing about this business. But dad wasn't afraid. He didn't back down from anything, from a challenge, from figuring something out. And we never relied on anybody else. And he would tell me, he's like, Miha, look, we have this person that's interested in investing in you, but I don't want to go that route. He's like, I want you to work hard for what you're going to have, because at the end of the day, you're not going to owe anybody, and it's going to be yours.
Old school.
And when I would have my equipment that I worked hard for, like we had the top of the line equipment, I had a Silver Eagle bus. Um, I would look around, I'd be like, yeah. I mean, because I went from carrying my equipment in a pickup truck.
Mm.
I bought my very first equipment. It was a PV system that I saved all my money from hot tamales. When I went
Nice.
on my own, I saved my own money. My mom would save my money, and that I bought my equipment when I went by my solo. And so yeah, so I may, it may not be top of the line, but it was mine.
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
He was just totally different dad manager versus like Abraham. It was
Yeah, they
just two
were
different
they
styles.
had a lot of similarities. They did. They were very old school. They were very old school. But my life was very different than Selena's.
Oh yeah.
I consider myself more of a normal life, because I did go all the way up to high school, and I was in sports, and I had friends, and I went to dances. And she never really experienced any of that stuff. She was always with her family and on the, in the music business.
Right.
So, so in that sense, I did have a little bit more of normalcy, I guess, if you will, as a young girl growing up. That's why whenever we hung out, she would have a blast with me, because she was never around people really my
She could
age,
be normal. Yeah.
mhm.
and stupid, funny, and goofy. She was.
Luis, he wants to know when was the first time covering a Journey song?
Hey Shelly, when was your first time coming to Journey song?
First Journey song that I covered was "When the Lights Go Down the City." That was the first one I did.
I love this. I love when they all sing. So unbelievable.
Okay, Allie was in here saying that her new bajo player is excited about Tejano.
Yeah, she's her grandpa is actually building her band of young kids right now,
Yeah,
and they're
the
really young. So we're super excited because I love the fact that he's really building that part because that's going to be huge for Allie. Of course I can continue to produce great music for her, but we really want them to start to be performing artists. You know, so I think
remember
right now the only two that are actually doing something like that is Kiana because she's already with her band called Siempre over there in New Mexico. So they play pretty often, and now he's helping build Ali's band.
the band members
But
are
back to Journey. I think I started doing. Well, I've been singing Journey since I was young. I'm a
Yeah,
rocker
who
girl
hasn't?
at heart. I mean, I grew up singing a lot of Heart, Pat Benatar, Journey, um, and music like that because of my brother. But I started implementing Journey in my show probably in 2013. And then I started doing Don't Stop Believin' probably like 2018. And then it just became my closing song.
Cool. That's a great closer.
now, Kiana, you said her band's made up of older and
Yeah,
uh,
they're older gentlemen,
but
orchestra,
Allie's doing all young kids.
all young kids. Yeah. So they're molding, he's helping mold them. And I think that's so amazing. That's the best thing you do. That's what we did when I went on my own. My dad had my cousin Tony, who Tony played with me since God we were like 13 years old up until I retired. My dad told him that he needed to recruit some high school guys from because he was in high school at this time,
Yeah.
and that we would teach him Tejano. So he recruited Rudy Martinez, who now plays for La Mafia, and he recruited Chris Perez, and so we taught them Tejano.
Oh, yeah. And that's another story, man.
Yeah. I mean,
That's another
Yeah,
story. Yeah.
it's another thing. I mean, everybody kind of knows I've always been very pretty private with that because I always feel like fans always want me to share things,
mhm,
um, about Selena, about Chris, and all of these things, but just memories to hold on to.
yeah.
Uh, but I really am a really big part of that whole thing. Their relationship, and you know, obviously we're not in control of fate. I mean, things happen, I guess, the way they're supposed to happen, or there is evil out there, obviously. That's what took my friend's life. But yeah, there's a lot of that. That's what they mean by winning. And I'm not, my friends. I'm not here to capitalize on anything. If I share something with fans, it's because maybe she's been weighing heavy on my mind, or
Yeah.
I had a dream about her, or because anytime I have a dream about her, we're talking like this. We're talking about things that are going on in my life. It's almost like she visits me. We talk about things, and it's really the only time
That's
that I'll
cool.
share memories.
Okay.
That's cool.
We're gonna end this with Lawrence. He has a question for you. All
What is
right,
it?
and he says, "When are you coming to do my show, Shelly?"
See,
Okay.
he can't.
Hey,
He does
I
that with his buddies now.
yes, that's true.
I
Uh,
need to
well,
need to
she's a
get on.
busy woman, and it took me a year, Lawrence, but yeah, I know you probably don't know. I've known her a long time.
No, I actually, yeah, Lawrence he used to run my fan club. He
Yeah,
used to run my fan club, and he's been a really good family friend for a very long time. My daddy really loved Lawrence, and if daddy likes you, then he likes you. He's
Yeah.
a very good judge of
Then
character.
you're okay.
He
Because
did have not he did have those.
yeah,
Dad didn't sugarcoat anything, like I said, and my mom's the same way. So that's why I am the way I am. But I actually have to go to San Angelo. We got to do radio with El Gallo Des, and plus I promised Rita that I was going to go write some country music with her over there. So I got to be heading to.
okay.
that's
Well, his
cool.
show is like our show. You can do it from your house, like that.
Oh
So yeah, so we're our show. We're not like Bumper where you have to come to his house.
yeah,
And
no,
drink.
I like yeah. Oh no, I don't drink really anyway. Um, No, I like actually, I like the radio tours. I like doing
Yeah.
the things.
Oh yeah.
I really feel like that's kind of the old school part of me. That's the old
Yeah,
artist that because it's important for us to show face as an artist and to
Yeah,
say thank not only to the state but to the community. They see you're going over there to go say thank you. You're in their town, you're in their city, and that goes a long way, with people. Oh, did I exit?
No,
no,
you're
you're
still
good.
on.
You're still on.
No, because my screen goes black. Um, a lot of people would say it's the little pueblitos around that would really make a difference, and they were right. Man, we would play in West Texas sometimes. I played in Irian. I don't know if y'all know where that's at. Um, kind of going towards Midland, Odessa from San Antonio area, and it's like there ain't nothing there, y'all. And I remember we pulled up and they had like a truck bed. It was just dead. It was like, and we're like, how are we gonna play in the middle of this? Like, they just put a truck here with the open land, and at night it was like people just came from all over the place. It was like insane. But I like I miss being on the road in that sense. I love driving, but I don't I don't miss being gone on the weekends and all of the sacrifice. Me and
Right.
I were so yeah.
Good.
So what time do you go to bed nowadays?
They don't.
You don't, you don't go
I
to
mean,
sleep?
God, y'all. I mean, it's really. I'm so serious when I say this. Since I've been producing, since I've opened up this different vault, if you will, or file cabinet of my brain of creativeness, um, music plays in my head
I believe that. I
constantly.
believe that. Yeah, that's has
I
to.
mean, sometimes like it's almost like if you have a radio on
Yeah.
while you're trying to sleep, and
I do that I
I
can't
wish I wish I could, but
in silence.
I try to sleep. I do get tired. I try to sleep, but I wake up early and then I start thinking about songs, and I'm like I told you, I mean, and then Friday I'm going to be heading to Houston with David, with El Gallo Dez, and I know we're probably going to write music on the way over there too. But yeah, so I told you I wrote 3 songs, just a little bit on the ways on the road last night. Today I was writing some more music because now I'm thinking of stuff for Alicia C, and then I'm thinking of stuff for Ali, for Kiana, I'm thinking of for all of them. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
talking to Ali's parents the other day, and I was showing her some of my country. I go, does Ali like country? And I started showing her parents one of my country songs. She's like, that you did that? And I was like, yeah. I was like, she's like, she would love that. So then I'm thinking about that. It's like, oh, so
Wow.
yeah.
That's the mind God created you with. So it's a
So
gift.
are you
Yeah.
ready? When does your college course start? My classes
September,
start in 2 weeks. Oh, you
uh,
start.
sep- beginning of September. Yeah,
Okay. Is it
yeah.
twice a week?
I'm only doing 30 hours a semester, so it's really not too much.
You're
I think
teaching
it's
30
twice a
hours?
week, twice a week. It's gonna be twice a week,
Okay, for
twice a
three.
week,
How long is your
a
class?
semester,
An
a
hour?
semester.
Yeah, but how
Uh,
long? Hour
Probably
and a half?
like 45 minutes. Yeah,
Oh, you
45
got
minutes
hours.
an hour. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not gonna be
Okay.
too bad. I mean,
My
I can't see myself doing that short a class, but
each one of
yeah,
my classes are 3 hours long, and I do it for 2 weeks.
yeah. That's a wow.
Yeah, and I'm teaching math. I don't know if you knew I was a math teacher.
Yeah, I hate math. It's funny. I
And the teachers.
And those who teach.
happened was because I was going to one school, and no disrespect, this is like a true story. Grade, and we had a Filipino teacher, so she had a very heavy accent, and
Yes.
it was hard for me to understand her. And then after third grade, I went to a completely different school. I went first. I was going to Holy Rosary, and then I went to St. Paul. And
Nice.
St. Paul, they all knew Long Division already, and I was still like stuck on the multiplication.
Oh,
Yes.
So psychologically, like just kind of, and then I'm a dyslexic with numbers and stuff. So even with letters, but um, like it just freaked me out. And it was weird because the other day I was working with my engineer in the studio, and I was reformatting this song, and he's like, "Do you realize you're doing fractions?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "You are. So you really are pretty good at math." I was like, "Oh, please don't tell me that, because
There's a lot of math in music.
yeah,
You're
yeah, I don't. I wish I could read it, but I can't. I have a cello here, which I'm gonna. I pretty much learn to play by ear.
you know how to read and write music, right?
No,
No, you do it all by ear.
Hmm.
Wow,
Oh wow,
that's crazy.
that's very
That's
common in the
that's
tile industry. A lot of them don't know how to read.
Yeah. You can give me a note and I'll figure it out.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's just talent right there.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
daughter's dyslexic too, so she's good at math, but reading, writing, she still has
I
issues.
didn't realize I was until I was an adult already. I was like, oh shoot, something's not right.
Yeah.
Uh, it was very intimidating when I was young, and I hated it. My parents, pobrecitos, they got me math tutors, and they tried everything, but I just was like, oh, I just don't like math. I don't, I loved history, I loved English, I loved.
Nobody loves math. Only geeks
Well,
and
I
dorks and rich people. But
I'm actually the highest rated
yeah,
math professor,
here we
Oh,
go.
that's so
Here we go.
awesome.
On that note, thank you so much for this.
Thank
yes,
And
Shelly,
you.
I'm
and
so
we
sorry
would
for
have
the
you
audio.
again like
It's
that,
okay.
and
And
you
thank
jump
you
in the
so much,
chat. You
Shelly.
have a link anytime we have a guest. I'm sure our guest wouldn't mind be on the same show with you like that.
So
So
yeah.
anytime you want to jump in, like when Des is going to be on the show in September, if you want to jump on, just hey, you've got that link. It's active. All
Yeah,
right,
especially if he's not doing it right.
and
Yeah.
hopefully the audio is going to be fixed by next
Yeah,
week.
Lord willing.
I
God.
thought I was doing something good for this week,
Mhm.
something
But
special.
yeah.
I
All
just
right,
want to for this and for having me on and for waiting for practically a year, buddy, for me to be on the show. And I'm just thankful that we were able to make it happen. And thank you
yeah,
to the fans for the continued love and support. I still get so many wonderful comments and messages. And, I will always, always love Tejano music. It's who I am, it's who I will always be. And I will always want to represent it in the most positive way. And, we have some amazing things coming out. I just released the new single for El Gallo Des called Huera Linda.
yes,
It'll hit all digital platforms on Friday the 11th. And of course, Alicia C's new EP is out. Cada Parte de Mi is on all digital platforms right now. Her latest single is called Todo. And we have some more new music. Annika's new video is out for Oyeme. And we have some new music coming out hopefully soon for my other artists. But thank you to the fans again. And I just promise you that I'm not going to bring you people that aren't talented.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, for
bringing
Are
sure.
you
serious talent to this
And
game. So
yeah.
are you most active on Facebook or are you like
I'm pretty
active?
much on everything. Social media, ugh, it takes a lot of time, but I try to be, but I am on my social media. Of course, I'm on Facebook, Shelly Lares fans. I
Mhm.
don't think my Shelly Lares I think I'm already maxed out, but Shelly Lares fans. And then, of course, I'm on Instagram, Little Miss TNT. I'm on TikTok under Shell Shock. I think I'm under Shell Shock Records 3. And Snap, I keep that for my friends and family. I don't have it public. Yeah.
Hmm. Well,
Right, and
give
I'm
your love
sure.
to your mom
I
and
will. Thank
Mia,
you.
and
Thank
thank you
you.
again. We're so blessed to have you.
Yes.
Thank
Thanks again. And like I said, you're invited to come anytime you feel like it and join the chat, join the show anytime. And
Thank you.
we're looking forward to having El Gallo Dez and some of your future artists on here.
We need to get them all.
Hmm.
All right.
They're all amazing, and they'll all sing for you too. So
That's a
Devo,
cool. That's a
I'm not
cool
going
thing.
to ask that, but
That's
Devo's
not.
going
I
to
love
okay.
that part.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Shelly.
thank you guys. God bless y'all.
Okay. That was
Yeah.
an awesome show. I am so
No, 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 no. Your
okay.
audio
Other than the
sucked.
audio issues that
It
we
was an
keep
awesome
having,
guess.
awesome guess. Yes.
Awesome guess, but my
All right.
oh
Okay.
my goodness.
Nemo,
Let me just put an egg on my face.
I do feel like Shelly's
This is
laughing at
horrible.
me back in the
Horrible. Oh, but okay.
okay. All right.
We lesson
Next
learned.
week we're gonna
Lesson
have
learned.
the three amigos on the show.
Oh, that's
So,
cool. All right,
yeah.
D.
So,
Burleson,
and then
Marcus,
yes. Okay, Shelly,
and
I can't
Juan.
hear you in the background right now. But yeah, we're gonna have Juan Mendoza, D. Burleson, and Marcus Daniel on the show.
Marcus
Three
Daniel.
amigos from Tejano TV. And so, hey, and then the next day we're gonna be on their show.
Oh,
Well, at
that's
least
what I heard. Yeah, we'll see.
at least
All
I
right,
am.
in
You
broadcast.
can
In
put on this.
broadcast.
Okay, but
Mm.
okay. So until next week, I'm your host, Oraldo, for It's Tejano Time.
And I'm Nemo with the Hana USA.
And you've been watching and listening to Tejano Time. Oh, and by the way, subscribe and, tell
Blah, blah, blah.
blah, blah. Come on, hey, Nemo, you need to stand up. You're getting shorter every all the time. Alright.